All right, this is the Catholic Family Podcast, and we're winging it a little bit. There's a camera, by the way, guys. You know, look at that. So that's how we do it over here. We're doing a little bit of ad-libbed as well. One of these fellas is about to head back to the U.S. after 10 days now in Europe. That's Thaddeus Kuck sitting right next to me. My brother Gabriel Davis over next to him. These two guys have traveled around Europe for the last few days with Father Philip, my brother from Idaho, as well as five other boys and men who have spent the last few years at the minor seminary in Idaho. And I want to talk to these guys after our long week. I keep looking up to the top right. Sorry about that, guys. Because I'm trying to look at myself rather than at the camera. Anyway, I want to talk to these guys about their experience at the minor seminary because I think it's kind of an unknown element a little bit. And these two guys also have, well, they have a prospective future that will give us a little bit of hope for the Catholic world, I suppose, if they're good boys. I don't know. I spent 10 days with these guys. I don't know. Is there hope for the future? I don't know. But I guess, I mean, Gabe, you're my brother. I'll start with you. How long have you been in the minor seminary, or how long were you in the minor seminary, and what are your overall thoughts about it?
So I joined, I believe, 2018. So 4 years, all 4 high school years. So from freshman to senior. I'd say overall the minor seminary was one of the better experiences of my life. It forms you in every way, so especially spiritually, and I'm very sad I'm leaving for sure.
Okay. And so how does it form you? Maybe I'll ask Thaddeus this. How long have you been there, Thaddeus?
I've been there for 2.5 years.
Okay, so Gabe was longer.
Yep.
Yeah. And so did you experience the same thing? Did it help to form you spiritually?
Yeah. Father Benedict keeps us on a pretty tight schedule, so really helps us with, accomplishing things and
You're keeping a spiritual routine, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
And is that something with that? I mean, when I was a teenager, I remember it being hard just getting up for Mass in Omaha. So I went to Omaha where it wasn't quite so, not strict, but not quite so routine. And and I don't think we even had to go to Mass, so I did most of the time. But was that hard as teenagers to have a strict routine, Gabe?
I would say it took 2 weeks to get used to, but after between 2 weeks and a month, you got used to it.
Yeah.
But especially waking up in the morning was the hardest. 6:20 is our normal wake up time, and we get to sleep in a little bit on the weekends, but we have morning Mass every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember my first year, I didn't miss a single day of Mass until Good Friday, which you don't have or you don't receive Holy Communion. But no, it's very, very spiritually strengthening having Holy Mass every morning. You just down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's not just Holy Mass, but we go into chapel together and pray. We do the little office of the Immaculate Conception, and so before Mass we do Matins and Prime, and then Dear Sextinon, and then Vespers, and then Rosary, and then Compline and Night Prayers.
So you really pray pretty much the whole breviary.
Well, it's the little office of the Immaculate Conception.
Okay, so it's not the full breviary.
It only takes about 12 minutes.
I see. Mm-hmm. Wait, 12 minutes each?
No, in total.
Total.
So
it's
very,
very,
very, very short.
I see, okay.
But it kind of gets you, a minor seminarian, into the habit of praying the hours.
Yeah. And do you ever chant, or you just pray simply?
Well, on Sundays and Feast of Our Lady, we chant Vespers. On Feast of Our Lady, and then Compline on Sundays. So after night prayers. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays for night prayers, we chant the solemn Salve Regina in a procession around the church, which is always very nice. It's very spiritual.
Nice. And if anyone who's been watching the channel while we were in Rome, we did record a few different hymns and chants, some better than others, but and that the beauty of these churches in Rome was really incredible to hear the sound that they were created to make, that really helps, and that's something that anyone who gets the chance to go and sing in Rome, I highly recommend it. But we'll publish probably a couple more of those too that were very nice. We didn't sing as much as I would have liked, honestly, but
Yeah.
what can you do? We're so busy, walking around and trying not to die of heat exhaustion that I guess sometimes we forgot. But I mean, so would you guys? I mean, maybe I'll ask you this, Thaddeus. Would you recommend this to everyone or only to a certain type of boy?
Honestly, I think anybody could do well there, but I mean, yes, I would recommend it to everyone, but
Okay. So everyone could do well, but not great.
yeah, yes.
I think that's a common misconception of the minor seminary is that, you can only go there if you're 100% certain you're going to be a priest. And I think that's not true. I mean, we're kind of stupid teenagers, so we don't really know what our future is. But
you go to the minor seminary to foster a vocation. So
right.
if you
even if there's a slight
Yeah.
inclination, it's enough.
And did you feel like you might have had a vocation at the time when you were a freshman in high school?
Yeah, I would say slightly, yes.
Yeah.
And when our parents first introduced the idea to us, they kind of gave us the pros and the cons. You'll be away from home, but also hear all the benefits, and I think the benefits way out balanced.
And did you guys go before Father Philip or after?
Oh, I went before, so
you were there before he came.
Yes, it would have been Father Augustine when we first arrived.
Got it.
And it was just 4 of us.
Okay, wow. And that this year was 12?
11.
11. Okay.
So we started the year with 9, and then we gained 2 during the year.
Okay. Usually it's the opposite, right? Usually
Right,
you
yeah.
lose a couple,
Lose a
okay, you
couple,
gain a
yeah.
couple, I guess. Like good or bad? I don't
That's
really
good.
know. Interesting. So is that something that do you expect to grow or?
Well, 12 is kind of our limit. So we have 10 rooms, and they're pretty small. So they're cubicles. So 1 bed, a little dresser. But with 11, we just had 1 group of boys bunking. But we are looking to expand this year. Set up another kind of dormitory.
Well, it sounds better than the major seminary. I think the major seminary in Seminary are
it's
bunking,
squished.
right? They're like 3 people to a room or something,
Right.
which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, no, we're pretty
which
lucky.
It's a problem, but it's also a good problem to have. I suppose.
Right,
And you have
no.
so many guys who, men who want to become seminarians
Very good
that there's not enough space for it. And anyone watching this, please pray for vocations and pray for space, pray for money. I can tell you if anyone wants to donate a couple $100,000, send it over to the bishop and he will put it to good use. I can tell you that absolutely for sure. But it's beautiful to see full seminaries. And so Thaddeus, was it the same with you? I mean, when you joined? So you joined older then. So Gabe must have joined when he was around 14. You must have joined when you were around 16.
16, yeah,
So-
in 10th grade.
Okay. And were you in Omaha before?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, I was. So I had classes with, Bishop and Sister Gertrude.
Nice.
But yeah, it was, Gabe said it took about 2 weeks to get used to, but for me it was kind of a lot more smooth, I guess, because I knew everybody there, and it's just really easy to get used to.
Yeah. The time and stuff, the routine
Right.
and stuff was okay.
Yeah.
He kind of jumped into the middle of the year.
Yeah,
his
in
first
January.
year.
Yeah.
Oh,
So he
okay.
came the second semester.
Okay.
So things were already, I think the first 2 weeks, everyone's kind of still kind of getting the feel of things and their, I don't know, position,
Yeah.
pecking order, I guess. But yeah, when William and I first joined, we didn't know anybody there. So that was definitely a hard thing, going 2,000 miles away,
Sure.
knowing nobody.
It's a good experience though.
No,
I
very
did the
good.
same in Omaha. It was like, whoa, there's a new place, and Mom and Dad dropped me off at church. We're there for a couple days, and then see you at Christmas. And like, oh boy, but it really did. It really in many ways made me who I am. I mean, that experience of having to be on your own and having to take that
Initiative.
responsibility and the initiative and say, okay, I have to be successful, and
Right.
not everyone, unfortunately, not everyone takes that as they should, but you can, and that's pretty cool. And so Thaddeus, did you feel when you went in that you might have a vocation?
Yes, I actually wanted to go there in 6th grade, but
Okay.
Mom said it was too early, so then I waited, and then when Gabriel and William went up, I really wanted to go, but I wasn't able to, and then finally got to go in 10th grade.
Got it. So you wanted to for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. But that's something that's pretty envious for many people. And I guess then the next question is, so I guess I'll ask you, get this, Gabe. What's the next step?
So September 15th starts classes in Olathe, so the religious seminary, and both of us will be there. So that's, I guess, the next step.
That's pretty cool. So
Pretty
I mean, it's pretty neat that you guys are going from the minor seminary and you're going up, joining the major seminary.
Leagues,
yeah. You're going to do the big leagues, and you're, and in the middle, you get to go on pilgrimage to Rome and to some German churches as well. And I think that's a pretty cool thing. And I hope that you guys feel as spiritually uplifted as I do, to have experienced that in Rome, especially for me, is just to see, I don't know, what the church is. Yeah, I mean,
what it was.
Yeah, and I think to see that these saints, I mean, you can go there and kneel in front of these saints who lay under the altar, and you can see that they were flesh and blood. You know,
right.
these were people. You go and you see the pillar, the actual pillar where Christ was scourged, and it's like, that's it really happened, and it just that really blows me away all the time. That this actually is real. You know, the faith is real. Christ was real. He was a person. You know, these saints were people, and because for me, I tended to get into my head it's a story. It's like kind of Lord of the Rings type thing. That's nice. You know, oh, St. Philip Neri, that's a nice story. That's a nice book. You know, that's a nice quote. And then you go and kneel in front of his altar, and you get to pray where he prayed, and you get to pray where he lays. Unfortunately, he wasn't there, but many of these other saints, and that's it's incredible. And just, if anyone can go on pilgrimage to Rome or to Jerusalem, of course, as well, highly recommend it. I think it will change your life. I'm kind of out of the picture here, but as everyone knows, it's all right, guys. It's my fault. As everyone knows, my technical prowess is not the best. But so guys, I mean, how do you feel going into the major religious seminary? We've talked a little bit in previous shows about the difference between religious and secular. So any of our long-term listeners understand the difference, that there's a little more of the actual three vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, which makes it a little more, what's the word? Not severe. It makes it, I guess, a little harder. It makes it a little, that you're a little more bound. You're a little more bound to the religious order, but you also get more graces, I suppose, merit. And so Thaddeus, is that something was that an easy decision for you to try at least? And again, anyone watching this, they're not priests yet, so pray for them. We're not saying they're going to be these great holy saints. They're not going to be great holy seminarians. They know that too, that they're going to the seminary. They're going to try it out. They hope, of course, they think it's their vocation, but pray for them. And that's one of the main reasons why we're doing this, so that they get your prayers. But I mean, what's your feeling for that? Do you feel nervous? Excited?
Excited for sure. The choice of religious seminary or secular seminary was mainly the religious. I feel like more give their all. You know, you're sacrificing yourself for the love of Christ. You know, you get to be. If you ever read the Saga of Citeaux by Raymond, he talks a lot about being chivalrous for God and being a shield for Christ. So that's what I want to do.
Cool. You know? Yeah. You do the same for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And be honest, was this something that Father Philip talked you guys into?
Well,
I know how he is. He's pretty biased over here. He was on another show. He's pretty biased for religious.
A big part was living with religious.
Yeah, sure.
So both Father Benedict and Father Philip and Father Augustine.
Brother Thomas.
You just get right. You just get very used to being around them. And it's not really a step, a large step going from minor seminary into, and actually Frater Aloysius, he came up for the Fatima conference, and we were talking to him because he took his final vows. But we were talking to him, and he, asking him what's the difference between the minor seminary and the religious major seminary, and because Frater Aloysius was in the minor seminary for 4 years, all 4 high school years, and he said we wake up in the religious seminary. We wake up an hour earlier, that's it. So that's
Yeah,
basically
same
the only.
schedule.
Interesting.
So Father Benedict, very wisely sets transition is basically none because our schedule is almost the exact same.
Interesting. Well, and anyone who watches the show knows that Father Benedict is definitely a friend of the show and one of my favorite priests. I mean, probably my favorite one to interview. One of the best, at least. He's just so full of knowledge and so good at explaining things and so punctual. I love that. I mean, like, I email Father Benedict and it's like, boom, he emails me back. It's like, and that's a priest, a busy priest. So I love Father Benedict. Father Philip, obviously, now I love him. There was a little bit of love-hate through our early years, but we've gotten past that. It was really great having him here. It was really fantastic to see him and to see him as a priest, which I really haven't gotten too much. And so that I think that seems like it's been a really good combination of those two.
For sure.
And is that something? Is Father Philip's kind of been the one bringing all these boys up there? Huh? He's been the recruiter, kind of.
Yeah, no, definitely. His first year, he got, I feel like, 5 boys to come up, talk to him and say, okay, here are the goods and the bads, and definitely not strong armed them into it, but definitely convinced them it's for the best.
And so you guys are you're still. You're not kids, you're young men. You're just at that transition period, right, between being children practically, or older children into young men, right? The 18, 19, I remember those times. Not a good time for me. I was more of a child than a young man. So as that more of a child than a young man, what would your advice be for let's say freshmen in high school, anywhere? What do you think? You both are about to enter a seminary. God willing, it works out, and you guys both, no matter what, obviously save your souls, and it's the most important thing. But what would be your advice? Thaddeus, I'll start with you. What would be your advice for a 14-year-old, just in general? What should young men do? What's the recipe for success for a teenager these days?
Our Lady. Stay close to Our Lady, in prayer and the Mass, and that's why the seminary is so awesome, because it has everything. It has the little office of the Immaculate Conception. It has daily Mass.
You have the sodality.
Yeah, the sodality.
That's the third order CMRI? Or
what's so it's sodality is a, it's basically a, I'm trying to think of the right word.
A group.
And we have like meetings and do spiritual exercises.
But so sodality of what?
The Immaculate Conception.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's just a seminary. So
I see.
So we meet once a month and then do like an apostolic action, like an extra prayer or sacrifice, that sort of thing.
Got it.
But
so the seminary is particularly devoted to Our Lady and the Immaculate Conception.
Very much.
And Saint Joseph, yeah.
And Saint Joseph. Okay. And the church is called the Immaculate Conception.
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Mary Immaculate Queen.
But
in Idaho, is Mary Immaculate Queen. Okay.
My bad.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Thinking Omaha.
Close enough. Yeah, Mary Immaculate Queen. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. And so, Gabe, what would be your advice to a young boy, especially?
I would say, keep it simple, stupid. So one of Bishop's favorite lines, for at least for me, considering the religious life, actually it is Fatima conference, or no, it was at priest meetings in January. I was talking to Father Benedict about the religious seminary and thinking about going there, and then I think he brought it up at the priest meetings, and then Father Gregory came the next night, and he's like, "Oh, so you're coming?" And I was like, yes." So and it was, I was ready for the question, but it was very kind of thrown on me. But if you just kind of keep it, try the religious seminary. If it's not God's will, then you'll never regret you did it.
And that would be my advice as someone who tried the seminary but didn't try it hard enough. I'll fully admit that now, though I'm happy in my vocation, of course, but really try it. And if anybody out there, it doesn't have to be the seminary. If you're set on a vocation and you're set on what you think you want to do, really give it your best shot. And I think you guys, I'm sure you're ready for that. Especially, I think, again, the minor seminary, I imagine, prepares you for that. But don't don't go in, with this, half glass. You got to go in full, and you got to go in and say, I'm going to really try this and really put my whole heart into it. And then if it doesn't work, then maybe that's God's will. And that's for anyone out there. Listen to someone who did it wrong. Don't go in, kind of half trying and half not really paying attention, not really caring, kind of seeing where it's going to go. Really try it. And any vocation, that's what we need with men. And I think that's especially men. We need fully active people who really try and give their best for whatever they're doing. If it's being a father, or even if it's being single, go and give it your best shot. And what else can you do, right? I mean, if you do the best that you can,
right?
That's about it.
Try your hardest.
Try your hardest. Try your hardest. Put it in God's hands. I mean, we're again on this podcast, we're slowly getting narrations for the Trustful Surrender to Divine Providence, and that's a pretty incredible book too. That's kind of like, you really learn, like you're really an idiot if you're trying to figure things out on your own.
Right.
If you're not putting them in God's hands and not trusting Our Lady, it's like, why? You literally have this resource at your hands, and you're just to worry and stress and to try to figure everything out on your own is just pointless.
Mm.
Well, guys, I think that I'll ask you last words. Any last words? Again, if it's any advice, if it's, you can say, as Gabe wipes off some sweat. Any last words you want to say before, maybe the last public words you have for the next 6 years? So make them really good. Who wants to go first? Go ahead, Gabe. You made the first noise. Last public words, maybe for 6 years. This is really important.
Well, I already said keep it simple, stupid. I think that's like my motto.
That's your motto. All right.
Don't ask stupid questions.
All right.
That's an important.
Especially if the bishop's teaching you.
Especially the bishop, yes. We learned that the hard way from Father Philip. Don't ask stupid questions.
Yeah.
Just trust whoever is in charge knows what they're doing, and just let them do it. And Thaddeus already said it. Have a devotion to Our Lady, and also so this is maybe my farewell advice is trust in your leadership, or in our Lord, and for Thaddeus and I will be trust in our superior. Just give them your best and give them basically your will. So I guess that will be my word of advice.
Fair enough. That is last public words.
You said it earlier, but just do your best in everything, and doing our best is gonna be obviously the worst, but still, we gotta try our best.
Good enough. Awesome. Well, everyone watching this, please again pray for these two young men. I think there are several others joining them, several other young men joining them in Olathe for the religious seminary. I know there are daily new seminarians in Omaha that desperately need place. They need money. So maybe I'll attach even the donation link to the Omaha seminary, because they're growing just unbelievably. They have 6 subdeacons right now who I suppose will be ordained in a year and a half, perhaps. So maybe next Christmas time. Don't take my word on that. I don't know if that's for sure, but that's approximately 6 new priests. So pray for them. Pray for all our religious. Pray for our priests. Pray for the bishop. There's a lot of prayers, guys. So I'm taking you on it. Everyone get to praying for the young men, young women. We need more vocations desperately, and especially for these two as they go on this next big journey. Thank you very much for listening and watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, subscribe, and contact Father Philip Marie Davis if you're interested in sending your boys to the minor seminary, and especially if they're really trouble. If they're really trouble, please. I mean, like really, if they're really, really bad kids, then I'll make sure to contact Father for you. So, everyone, thank you. God bless you too. God bless. And Gabe, you're staying here for a bit.
Yep.
Thaddeus is heading out in the next minutes. So, it's been fun.
Yeah. God bless you.
God bless.